All right, let's dive into the claustrophobic, seriously mind-bending sci-fi thriller Meander. This is one of those movies that starts with a woman's deep personal grief and just spirals into this insane cosmic trial. We're talking about a relentless gauntlet of deadly traps and a mystery that is literally out of this world.
So, the story kicks off with this really stark, haunting image. We see a woman, Lisa, just lying on a deserted road, basically waiting for death. But then, headlights cut through the darkness, and that survival instinct, it just takes over. The fear of a violent end sends her scrambling to safety. It's like she might have lost the will to live, but she definitely hasn't lost the fear of dying.
So, you're probably wondering, why is she so desperate? Well, today is her daughter Nina's birthday, but Nina is gone. Swallowed by grief, Lisa isn't just trying to end her own pain. No, she's desperately looking for a way back to her daughter, and she doesn't care what it costs.
And right then, in this moment of just complete desolation, her real journey kicks off. The same car that almost hit her comes back. The driver, a guy named Adam, offers her a ride. And really, with nothing left to lose, she gets in.
So as they're driving into the night, a news alert comes on the radio. It's about a serial killer in the area. And the description is, well, it's chillingly specific. With every single detail, you can just feel this cold dread start to creep over Lisa. She glances over at Adam's right hand on the gear shift, and she sees it. A cross tattoo. The guy who gave her a ride is the killer from the radio. Before she can even scream, Adam slams on the brakes. Her head hits the dashboard, and everything just goes black. So Lisa wakes up, but she's not in a hospital. No, she's here, in this cold, metallic prison. She's trapped inside a maze of super narrow tunnels, and she's wearing this strange suit that seems like it's fused right to her skin. Okay, so this place isn't just a prison, it's some kind of twisted game with deadly rules. There's a bracelet on her wrist that suddenly flashes to life, and it's got an 11-minute countdown. The purpose becomes terrifyingly clear pretty quick. When that timer hits 0, a lethal trap goes off. Her only shot at survival is to find a tiny, temporary safe chamber that opens just seconds before the timer runs out. And let me tell you, these traps are absolutely brutal. First, she's nearly crushed by converging walls. Then, searing hot pipes turn the tunnel into an actual oven. She gets plunged into a sealed water tank with barely any air. And then she has to cross a pit of boiling acid that literally dissolves metal. This isn't just a test, it's a relentless gauntlet, forcing her to fight for a life she didn't even want anymore. So, after somehow making it through all that, Lisa hears something, a voice. There's someone else trapped in here with her. For a second, there's a flicker of hope. But that hope, it turns to horror real fast. As the heating pipes start glowing red hot, a single safe chamber opens up, right between Lisa and the other prisoner. The problem? There's only room for one. What happens next is just this raw, vicious fight for survival, a desperate clash to decide who lives and who burns. In this final desperate move, Lisa kicks the man out just as the door slams shut, completely severing his hand. And as he's screaming, she sees it. On the dismembered hand, there is a cross tattoo. Her fellow prisoner is Adam, the serial killer. The man who abducted her is trapped in the exact same nightmare. So, with Adam gone, consumed by the flames, everything changes. The nature of this place starts to shift. This isn't just about survival anymore. Now, it's about figuring out what the heck is going on. Something new enters the maze, and it changes everything. So, after she burns her knee pretty badly in the acid pit, a small hatch opens, and this robotic skull emerges. I mean, it's a terrifying sight. You'd think it's there to finish her off, right? Wrong. Instead, it extends this little tool and, impossibly, heals her wound completely. This suggests there's a purpose here far beyond just simple torture. This little robot connects to her suit, and it triggers a flashback. Lisa remembers what happened after the car crash. Adam dragged her out, stabbed her, and just left her to die. But as she lay there bleeding, this brilliant white light came down from the sky. And it all clicks into place. Aliens saved her from Adam. But that just raises an even bigger question. Why put her through all this? Now that she knows this isn't Adam's twisted game, her whole mindset just flips. She's not a victim reacting to traps anymore. She becomes a player, and she is determined to solve this puzzle. And this is where she has her big aha moment. She remembers seeing symbols under the timer on Adam's severed arm. They weren't just random marks.
They were a sequence of arrows, a code. Realizing her own bracelet must have a similar key, she makes a super risky move. She dips it into the acid to burn off the casing, revealing her own unique path forward.
So she follows the code, and she finally reaches what seems like the last crossroads. And from the left tunnel, a perfect living vision of her daughter Nina appears. Nina is begging her not to leave, offering her the one thing she's wanted more than anything in the world, to be with her daughter again. So what do? Lisa is faced with this impossible choice: stay with this beautiful illusion of her past, or follow the code toward a future she can't even imagine. And in this incredible moment of heartbreaking strength, she looks at the image of her daughter and says, "You are already dead." She chooses to let go and keep going. After making that ultimate emotional sacrifice and surviving a final gauntlet of razor-sharp blades, Lisa crawls, bleeding and broken, toward what looks like freedom. She reaches the end of the tunnel, and there it is, the blue sky, the open air. She's made it. But when she reaches out her hand, it hits a hard surface. The beautiful sky is just a video screen. All the pain, all the sacrifice, it was for nothing. She failed. She just collapses, laughing in complete despair. But here's the twist. That wasn't failure. That was the final test. Only by reaching the absolute depths of despair, by giving up all hope, could she actually pass. As she lies there, completely broken, the ceiling opens up. A pure white light comes down, lifting her out of the maze and into whatever comes next. And this is where we finally get it. The tunnels were never a prison. They were a crucible, a kind of purgatory. The whole ordeal was an alien trial, designed for one single purpose: to force Lisa to fight for a life she no longer wanted, and in doing so, to finally let go of the grief that was anchoring her soul to the earth. And then, she wakes up in this lush, beautiful landscape, a paradise, and waiting for her by a waterfall is Nina. When Lisa asks if she's dead, Nina just says, "Your body has died many times. Here, you just have to live." She passed the test. She's found her peace. And that's where the film leaves us. It suggests that sometimes the only way to really heal is to endure the impossible, not just to survive, but to prove that you're finally ready to let go of your deepest pain. So it asks us all a pretty profound question. Could you endure your